In every large organization, like every big firm, every civil service department, the armed forces and so on, there must be hundreds, even thousands. If all the homosexuals were to leave their jobs simultaneously, the economy of the country would be thrown into something like chaos. In Britain alone, there are at least 1 million men and 1 million women.
That's right, we depend on the homosexuals for our lives. That's an odd takeaway. Was there a gay strike that was coming in 1964 that I don't know about?
They're trying to excuse their massive military losses in World War II.
No, you don't understand.
There weren't any back then, so we had to...
It was the poofters.
It was both their fault and they could have helped. That's a derangement syndrome.
And 1 million women who are homosexual. Now, for some reason, the law takes an entirely different attitude toward the two sexes in this matter. Between women, homosexuality is perfectly legal, but between men, it's a crime, rendering the offender liable to several years of imprisonment.
Because it's
there
not
are only
fun
half a
to
dozen
look
countries
at.
in the world in which it is a crime, but for some reason, Britain is one of them.
Well,
So
no,
what's
Britain
it like
likes
then
roundabouts.
to be a male
and-
homosexual in Britain today, whose only choice is between a lifetime
ruining
of
the
complete
donut.
sexual abstinence or being a criminal?
Pretending the whole time, guarding your language the whole time. I feel that to a certain extent homosexuals can be recognised by what they say.
It's funny, he
Even
doesn't
when
realize that they're
perfectly ordinary
all
topics.
British.
Therefore, I guard what I say, even on perfect ordinary topics. I guard what I say the entire time.
No one can
How
actually
do you
tell.
think
You're
homosexuals
fine.
reveal themselves when they're talking about ordinary topics?
Perhaps in the assumptions they make about their future, which are going to be different from heterosexual futures.
Involving a lot more,
I make
sodomy.
deliberate effort in my conversation, sometimes, to imply that marriage is in my future. But
In fact, it
talking
isn't.
So
at
is he
ease,
gay?
I might give away
yeah.
the fact
Okay.
that in practice I know it's
He's
not
saying
going to be
they.
any
Oh,
part of
there's
my future.
another one.
I might make some remark which shows I take it for granted that marriage, children, perhaps even a house are sort of something I know are perhaps never going to happen to me.
You'll never
I
have a
That
house.
I might
possibly a giveaway.
mention being bent
Did
over
you
a
find it
barrel,
very
and
hard to
instead
come
of
to terms with the
making
fact
it
that
a
you are
colloquial
homosexual?
metaphor, I'll reveal that it's actually an
yes,
experience that
from
I
around
engage in weekly.
16 till about 22 or 23. The whole of that time it was associated in my mind with guilt, sordid matters,
I mean, that many men, no wonder you
elderly,
feel guilty.
unpleasant men. It was in
Save
no
some
way
for the
associated
rest,
with
Jesus.
reasonable, mature, normal,
Well, there's
ordinary,
plenty.
pleasant people.
There's plenty to go around,
What
because if
happened
they
to
all went
change?
away, the economy would...
Oh yeah, that's right. You mentioned that the British
Met
economy.
somebody
Well, I like
who
his
was
face. His
reasonable,
face is
dependent on
visible.
pure and normal, and who was queer.
It was the height of identity obscuring technology at the time.
So there's another one from the year following called This. It's This Week, and it's lesbians.
Do you regard yourself as being exactly the same as everyone else except in your private sex life?
No,
Certainly, yes. I don't think
You're wrong.
there's a typical human being. Similarly, I don't think there's a typical lesbian. I wish to be judged as a human being, not as a lesbian.
I saw you coming a mile away.
I don't think the fact of
Just
being
by the name of the
homosexual should
clip.
be allowed to rule one's life completely and be the dominating factor in everything one does. I think one should be a whole human being.
3 months ago, we devoted a This Week programme to male homosexuality. But by confining ourselves to men, we were dealing with only half the problem. The word homosexuality is...
Oh, perfect. Because those goddamn homosexuals have a propensity to leave their jobs all on the same day.
he just realized the real problem is if we lose the butch lesbians, because the poofters won't do anything for the economy. The way they always mince around and flap about.
Yeah, it's
just like more women.
It's the lesbians that if they leave, we lose the manufacturing sector.
There'll be no steel workers.
Oh.
What phrasing is
ourselves to men, we were dealing with only half the problem.
The word homosexuality is formed from the Greek word homos, meaning the same, and it means to have
And
sexual relationships
actuality.
with someone of the same sex as yourself. This exists among women just as among men. Women homosexuals
Isn't
are
that
often known
weird?
as lesbians, again from the Greek island of Lesbos, where in ancient times the great poetess Sappho and a number of other homosexual women were known to live. Tonight we're going to devote our programme to the other half of this subject, to female homosexuality or lesbianism. In some ways this is a much easier subject for us to deal with, because
it's
whereas
pretty
male
wonderful if you
homosexuality
take a
is a
look at
crime
it.
in Britain, female
downright
homosexuality is perfectly legal. Lesbians can be open about it.
And
As
they're
we shall
encouraged
see,
to
the great
do so in
majority
public.
aren't, but a few are. For instance, this secretary from the North Midlands.
Well,
Do
it's
you often
really
flick your baked bean
that,
with other women?
I want to love and be loved by another woman.
How can you find such a woman?
Well, I put
Well,
an
that's
advert
the
in the
difficulty.
paper. Bean flicker
in a way, it
wanted
means
must
that I
be
have to
able to flick
keep
and
making
bean.
friends with people because I can't find out
Sometimes
unless
I
I
can't
make
flick a
friends
bean
with
if I'm a
them.
bit knackered.
And then, if they are lesbian, there's hope for me. But even then there isn't hope unless they happen to take to me.
Yes,
Can you
that's
tell
how
by
it works
looking at
with
a woman
every
whether she's
bit of
gay?
attraction,
Oh.
with every
You think that's
pair of
complete
people
myth?
ever.
Absolutely.
You just can't
Because I've been
put a
looking
price
out
on.
hard
you-
enough.
I mean,
You can't put
a
you
price
can't put a price on stripping someone of their free will. That's what I was trying
Yes. I was going to say you can put a price on sex. Prostitutes do it every day.